Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Supreme Commander 2. We got a hell of a game for you guys today. My last cast was Iron Commander versus Awasy. I uploaded it a week or two ago, and it's done really, really well. And I'm glad you guys liked that game because I actually have 8 total replays between Awasy and Iron Commander, including that last one. That means we got 7 more, and the second one is right here. So if you guys want to see more of these, do me a favor. Let me know you enjoy these these casts some way. Today they're going to be playing on Thunder Pass, the custom map from the Supreme Commander 2 community. And if you want it, you should join the Discord, and we can help you get set up with those. Now let's go ahead and see what we're doing. We got Awasy down here as our purple Aeon Illuminate going first air. And his opponent to the north, Iron Commander, playing his Cybran once more in the blue, going triple land. Now, I've heard tell that first air on this map is actually not that great. I played a 3v3 on this map not that long ago. I was in this top right position up here, and a teammate was here. And there was kind of a lack of communication between teammates here, and we went 2 air versus one of our the other teammate going to land, versus 1 air and 2 land opponents. And we got completely overwhelmed, completely outdone. Now, our opposing team was already much higher skill than we were, so it was kind of going to go badly anyways, if from what I remember right. But it was completely overwhelming. I've heard tell that air is... Like, this is a deceptively short distance right here, right? Like, this looks like a long ways out when you zoom out. But I think this map is smaller than Palms. Like, just kind of, like, looking at the distances here. This map is actually maybe about as big as Palms. And as you know, the spawns on open Palms are quite close together when you're playing in a 3v3 setting or in a free-for-all setting. So we are going to see 4 bombers out across the map for Awasy. And then we're going to immediately see Iron moving this commander and a bunch of loyalists across the way here to go harass him. He's like, I see your bombers, and I hear that you have no defenses at home. That's what I hear. And so he's going to send all his guys in. Awasy did move into 1 air 2 land, recognizing what the triple land threat here, so he can start producing Yinzus, and this is going to be what allows him to live here, if indeed he does. I actually don't know how long these replays are, so if any of them prove to be incredibly short, you might get 2 in a single video. We'll see. I think Iron needs to pull back here. He is not winning the fight at the moment. Not by a mile. I believe he's hoping for a draw in this scenario. This is looking like a short game. Uh-oh. We might be getting a double right here and now, folks. Awasy ahead in every aspect, and looks like Iron's just going to bite it, unfortunately. A short and vicious 3 land open. Oh, here I was talking smack about the first air, but that scouting did let him get the information he needed. I think Iron should have built the radar first, in my opinion. Now, obviously, Iron Commander's a lot better at this game than I am, so maybe he has reasons for what he was doing. But if he had either built the radar or gotten Commander radar, he could have seen the tanks, because it was the transition into 2 land that saved him, right? My mistake when I played was I didn't transition out of air. I doubled down on air on that replay. I ended up doubling down on the 2 air play, whereas Awasy saw this coming in right away, presumably with either his commander or an engineer or something, and said, "Oh, I'm just gonna slap down. I'm just gonna build Yenzu tanks and a factory shield and be fine." And that's exactly what happened. That one was super short. Let's do one more. You guys are in luck. Looks like the next one is going to be game 4 on Palms, which we are going to load up right here now. All right. And we're back with our purple Aeon hero Awasy. Going once again, first air, probably going to go into 1 air 2 land. Again, he really likes doing this first air, I've noticed. Awasy really loves doing a 1 air open, scouting his opponent, reacting accordingly. And often, I think I see him just build the 2 land anyway, 1 air 2 land, just to get the extra units out regardless, even if his opponent is doing something different. We are going to see Iron going 2 Cybern land factories here in that top right blue Cybern again. These two playing their... I believe this was a tournament where you pick your faction at the start, and that is the faction you have to play as. So we're going to see lots of... out of this series, we're going to see lots of Cybern versus Illuminate. No UEF representation between these two due to the rules of the tournament they were playing in at the time. Sorry to our UEF lovers out there. You're going to get to see some epic games, though, in exchange, I hope. Yep, sure enough, we're going to see him drop the... Wow, only 1 energy before transitioning into that second factory. No additional energy queued out of his engineers here. Awasy going for a very tight build. Iron is going for his rear eco despite the presence of enemy air and him going triple land. I wonder what that's about, because I've always felt like... I mean, okay, so he's just going to go straight into adapters. He's going to move some adapters to support this engineer. If he puts adapters back here or right-clicks them on this engineer, then it won't matter. Bombers. I guess that means it'll be a lot harder for these bombers to harass back here. He's just got to get them back there. The real question is he going to bother? No, he is going to cancel those rear mass extractors. He's not going to bother trying to defend them with the adapters. All right. So this is a pretty classic setup. Anybody who hasn't seen high-level gameplay before, this is a very, very classic interplay between these two factions. 1 air Illuminate with some land factory Yinzu supporting. Triple land factory Cybern pumping out adapters and loyalists. Gonna build the adapters to deal with these air units. That's what's gonna force the tanks. The tanks are better at dealing damage and have higher health than these loyalists. With the loyalists, they're faster, they're more maneuverable. The power detonate is a risk, and the adapter shielding provides them some extra survivability. Not a ton of extra survivability. They're not nearly as strong in terms of shield health as the UEF P shield. But they are stronger. So it's very curious to see 2 high-level pros. These guys have played this exact matchup, right? I guarantee you 1,000 times, right? They have played as Cybern 1 air, or excuse me, Illuminate 1 air 2 land and Cybern triple land 1,000 times. Probably both of them have been on either side of the coin 100 times each or more. 500 times each. Like, this is very especially on open palms. This is a type of the matchup you see a lot. And when you get into a matchup like this, the thing that determines the winner is gonna be your unit micro. This is a micro intensive play out of both of these guys. Look, they're both going to be engaging with the commander. They're going to be relying on commander healing up damaged units. They're going to be relying on the units upgrade paths to, does Iron go for power detonate or does he go for veterancy? You have to pick training for extra health and damage, or do you go straight to power detonate jump jets? There's a lot of choices to be made when you're going into this type of game with 2 super high level players, because they have to think, all right, well, I'm going triple lane Cybern, and this Illuminate player knows how to stop triple lane Cybern. This Illuminate player that I'm up against has gone 1 air 2 land, and I know how to stop 1 air 2 land. Both of them are going to be thinking about the amount of times that they've played this matchup and what they can do against this player that they've played against a lot and that they know is high level to stop them from getting away with it, essentially, because they both of them have seen this 100 times. Look, we're going to see the forward. We're going to see the forward radar out now from Awasy. He wants to keep tabs on the numbers inside Iron's army. He wants to know, do we have a numbers advantage or not? Iron, thinking the exact same thing. It's going to build a forward radar, and it's not going to be keeping tabs on Awasy's army. He wants to know, do I have a numbers advantage? Where are these air units at? What are these air units doing? Are they flanking me right now? So Iron is going to find himself a little bit behind on eco because he cannot expand to his rear mass for free. They're going to get harassed down by these We-to-Both fighter bombers. He's got to either let it happen or dedicate micro time to sending adapters and an engineer to save it, which is what he's going to do here. He wants this extra resources. He needs this extra resources. There's the Brackmans coming out. We've got a 4th and 5th land factory coming out now. Meanwhile, we've got our 3rd land factory coming out of Awasy. And Awasy, since he can expand for free, he's going to do that. Iron Commander can't really expand. He's going to wait on his... As his mass extractors that he's already built naturally level up, he's going to be able to afford more and more land factories, whereas Awasy's putting those resources in towards expansion. And this is good because, theoretically speaking, the Cybran does have the advantage here. They've got the anti-missile, they have the shielding against and anti-air against bombers. The AoE on the Brackmans is devastating against these tanks, and it's going to be hard to land hits against a player like Awasy, but as you can see, when you do land those hits, they do lots of damage to lots of units. One bad micro play from Awasy here could result in the losses of half this army or more. Meanwhile, he's going to plonk down units one at a time with those Yinzu tanks. Now, thankfully, they do have decent damage. Look at that unit micro. Iron Commander pulling the Brackmans out of the front line so that the Loyalists can take the hits, keeping his artillery units alive. Going to pick off 2 units, 3 units here. That looks more like a dead Loyalist to me, so we lost a couple units here for Iron. We lost 3 to 5 units here for Awasy, and Awasy's going to be forced to pull back. He recognizes he can't win this engagement right now up on top of Iron Commander's front door with Brackman reinforcements coming in. This is a wonderful level of micro we're seeing. It's fun to see these matches where this turns into this intense, tight back and forth with nearly equal units, relying on the strengths and weaknesses of their faction and their opponent's faction to make a decision on what they should do. Bada Boom Armor Booster going to be providing an extra 450 health to these Yinzu tanks, making them incredibly, incredibly effective compared to these Loyalists with only 1100 health to their name. The Adapter Shield is not going to quite make up for that just yet. More forward radar coming out of Iron Commander. He wants to know exactly what's happening in his opponent's base, and for good reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planned land factories for Awasy if they all get built. And no matter how many units you've got with power detonator equipped, if Awasy lasts long enough to build these factories, he's going to be getting research from this combat. There's a research station queued up at home. Iron does not have any research stations of his own because he can't afford them. He's just now getting to his expansion, whereas his opponent has gotten well into the expansion process. Teleport. Teleport will be what seals the fate here for Iron Commander. He wants to either win the engagement or land a power detonate on his opponent's main army before his opponent can make it to teleport, because once the teleport happens, his opponent can ignore his army completely if he so chooses, or take a very, very favorable engagement against it by flanking it and cutting off reinforcements. Lots of these units on low health. I'm cautious to zoom in on it too much because I want to keep tabs on what these guys are doing. Notice that Awasy is still only on 1 air factory. He's keeping this around just for harassment purposes. He wants to force Iron to continue investing resources into these adapters. Each adapter that gets built is 1 more Loyalist he could have had instead. That being said, he doesn't want to give up on adapters completely anyway because the shields are, well, they're nice for blocking these hits. This is going to be a battle of wills here in the middle. More units dying for Awasy, though. Those Brackmans are rough. More units. Oh, man, look at all these units dying to the Brackman fires. Another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units dying there, it looks like. 8, 9, 10, 11. More and more units. I wish I could, like, drag a box or click to see the exact numbers because there's too much going on. I'm not going to stop and count them right now, but Iron is putting all the pressure in the world on with even despite having a slow expansion, and now that he's got factory AA and everything else, these bombers are essentially useless. So we've now seen the power shift drastically into the hands of the Cybern, despite the early harassment out of these bombers. The bombers proving to not be a worthwhile investment for now. Now, it's worth noting that later on, it'll still be worth having these bombers because he can use them if, say, mobile missiles or tank rounds are hitting to break the shielding on this blob of units. One bomber pass, he slowly builds up to, say, 30 bombers. Gets one bomber pass onto the center of this blob when there's not enough shields to stop the bombs from landing, and he'll blow up half of Iron's forces in a single pass. Or he can use them to one-pass megaliths and other things if the game gets to that point. And that's why he's continuing to slowly build these bombers up. He's waiting for a critical moment where he can use them to shift the tide of battle on the ground. Pretty safe bet that we can zoom in now and examine the action happening here. Look at all of these Brackman rounds doing damage. Oh, man. Starting to land into the center mass of the army there. Huge losses coming out for Awasy. And there's the bombing run I was talking about, but... oh. Probably not the devastating pass he was hoping for, but Awasy still cleared out a good chunk of units there. It's hard to tell how many died there. There's the teleport that I was talking about, and here we go. This is where the shift is going to happen one way or the other. One of these opponents, one of these two players is probably going to secure the victory here and now. Either the teleport and surround is going to come out with the bombing support. We've got factory shields. The commander's getting jumped on. Awasy wasn't paying attention to his commander's positioning. Iron Commander recognizing the position he's in with teleport being on the field now. It's just going to mob the commander. Awasy's going to control K. Recognizes that he's lost. The teleport didn't happen in time. The bombing run did not get the pass that it needed to secure the victory here. This is a very, very difficult matchup for both players, unfortunately, because if Iron Commander messes up and loses too many units to a bombing pass, that's it. He won't recover. The teleport Yinzus will be able to just jump on him. And conversely, as you saw, the Brackmans were landing so many shots, picking off so many units there for free, by comparison anyway. And once the jump jet came out and he had the units, he was able to just ignore the Yinzu tanks. There weren't enough land units left to prevent the snipe on the commander. The factory shielding was not enough. We're going to see a victory for Awasy and a victory for Iron Commander in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed those games. I know those games are both a little bit shorter, but I really liked the interplay between these two players. These two players going at it is really nice to see. So, if you liked this video, be sure to let me know somewhere. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Cheers.